evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Necromaniacs Horror Podcast. How's it going, Jeff?
Going all right, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Things are going pretty solid here in life, and I've been very busy, but there's
Yeah.
definitely a light at the end of the tunnel, which is good.
Yeah, speaking before, yeah, you got a lot going on, man. Good things.
Yeah, good stuff. Making some turning some corners, at work. I'll have some good news for everything, which is nice. So
That's awesome, man. Anything else going on? Like, been checking out any cool stuff?
actually, I think I saw what is definitely going to be an entry into our top six films just recently.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Do tell,
yeah.
because I don't think I've seen one yet
Well,
this year.
I saw a film called The Undertone recently.
Oh, yes. We're talking about doing an episode.
Yeah. It's available for rental now.
It's like
Uh,
$20.
yeah, I mean, it's like taking a date to a movie. That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I really wanted to see it in a theater with like a big sound system and everything because a lot of it is very much audio centered,
Hmm.
and I want to watch it again. That's how much I enjoyed it.
Well, I guess maybe in a couple weeks we'll give our thoughts on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Highly recommend it. It's, like I said, right now it's rental, so it's a little pricey. I'm sure later in the year it'll be available on one of the streamers.
Yeah, actually, we talked about doing that instead of the movie we're doing today, but like it was like, yeah, let's wait till the price drops a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about doing this film tonight's film for a
A
while.
bit, yeah.
So, and I feel like just several years back, I feel like it's something I wanted to do at some point anyway. So,
I can see why, huh?
yeah. Also checked out a web series
Hmm.
called The Oldest View.
You sent me that, right?
Yeah, it's that Kane Pixels guy, the dude who did Backrooms.
The film or the
Well, the original web series
right?
back,
Okay,
like
all
he
right,
was
yeah, yeah,
the mastermind of that whole experience, and it's fucking trippy, man. And honestly, it's like I think I said this way back when Skinamarink came out, which obviously that's a divisive film. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it, and
great movie.
yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah,
And I think even back then when we covered it, I indicated that there's a whole scene of analog horror dudes out there making films like this, and Kane Pixels is like the top of that heap, if you ask me, man. Like this, it's they don't it's they give you just enough narrative, more narrative than in Skinamarink.
Hmm.
Skinamarink is like a meditative, like it's like listening to like a Sun record or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. I think I mentioned that on our episode.
Yeah, and but the oldest view. This came out a couple of years ago. This isn't even new, but
Hmm.
I just found out about it. It's like it gives you just enough narrative to follow the story, but also it leaves so much out that you have to make the connections between all these points. And
Right,
and it's kind of the same setup as like Backrooms, where like liminal spaces, and some dude finds a hole in the ground. There's a stairway that goes deep into the ground, and then he ends up in like this abandoned mall, basically.
yeah.
And then shit gets crazy from there.
Yeah, and I love stuff like that. And the less you explain for me, the better.
Yeah, and it's really really cool. All you got to do is type into your YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's not even like you know on any of the streamers really. It's just on a YouTube
Yeah.
page.
You sent me the link to that with no context.
Yeah, that's kind of like on brand with the film, really.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did though. Yeah, it's great. He's not directing the film version of this though, is he? Of Backroom.
No, and he's a young kid too, man. I think he's like 20 years old or something like that.
Yeah, man. The kids, they're doing it right. They're doing it right now.
It makes me feel very confident about the future of filmmaking, just because this stuff requires a lot of intention, and a lot of you have to have a pretty good attention span for this too. Which is
Yeah.
big commentary on modern society is no one can focus on anything,
Yeah,
you know.
no, absolutely. Yeah,
So
yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in that genre popping up, like very like short, like 30-second films on like Instagram and TikTok and shit like that. I don't follow it too closely, but I just know I see some of the stuff and I like it.
yeah, it's interesting because it kind of combines both elements of the way people consume media. It's like, yes, there's shorts, but there's a longer narrative that has to get strung together if you view everything. Like for example, the episodes are like 4 minutes long,
Right, yeah.
but you go on as a playlist and you can watch the entire thing in order at the at its YouTube channel.
It's almost like digital creepy pastas. That's what
Yeah,
I kind of the vibe I get. Yeah.
and it touches on a lot of just stuff that I'm into, like weird fiction, like there's like a cosmic element to everything, and it's just you know, and then there'll be like text on the screen, which kind of like gives you clues as to what direction it's going into, and I don't know, it's cool.
It is cool, and I'm very much looking forward to that movie coming out. It's coming out soon, I think.
Yeah.
I hope it's good. I mean, A24, like, they rarely miss. They're usually pretty good, but you never know.
I haven't actually watched much of the Backrooms episodes, honestly, but I think I'm gonna try to. I mean, there's like hundreds of episodes apparently.
Yeah, like that's gonna be a rabbit hole I crawl into
Yeah.
eventually. Yeah, for sure. Anything else?
Well, I finished Monumental, the Adam Neville book, his newest,
Yeah,
and
you posted
really,
about that. Yeah.
really enjoyed it. You and I think, talked about this, or maybe I talked about it with Carl, where I think like the ultimate combo of people working on a film adaptation of this would be Adam Neville as like adapting his script
Hmm.
with Ben Wheatley.
Yes, yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, Ben Wheatley directing. That would be the
Yeah.
perfect because two Brits. It's a very British, folk horror kind of vibe to this whole thing, and I would really that's wishful thinking. However, Ben Wheatley is going to be picking up the Strange Angel series, which is the Jack Parsons story
Really?
at the television show. Yeah, there was 2 seasons of that, and then it got canceled. And so apparently Wheatley is going to be picking that up.
Excellent. God, I look forward to anything he's attached to. I'm a fan, to say the least.
Yeah, because
Uh,
I follow him on Instagram, and
yeah.
there was like a post about him. He's like, on set working on Strange Angel, right? So I was like, it's got it. So I actually commented on it. I was like, the Jack Parsons show, and he liked it, and he responded yes.
Oh, got a response from Ben Wheatley himself. That's great.
So that's fucking sick, man. I'm excited about that. I can't even tell you.
Did you follow up like, hey man, check out my band?
Like I play in a band, I play guitar in a band.
You'd really like it, man. That's awesome though. Yeah. I've been well, I'm covering I'm reading a book for the Horseman's podcast for the Horror Wolf 666. We're doing another Stephen King book.
Nice.
And so I'm about halfway through that. Which we've been doing his short story collections, only starting with the newest and going backwards.
Mm.
So yeah, we did the last two, and now we're doing Just After Sunset or whatever the fuck it's called. Mixed bag so far. You've read a lot of Stephen
Oh
King.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
his short stories are usually his best, but his later work, I would say, is not quite up to par with the stuff that's in Night Shift.
And that I mean that dude's got so much material out that it's like if he only had written his great stories, it would eclipse pretty much anybody's work, really, body of work.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, he's still the master and everything, but some of these stories have been quite a slog to get through. But there's one or two in that collection that are absolute some of his best. And tune into the Horror Wolf 666 podcast to hear our thoughts on it in a month or two. I don't know when we're gonna record it and when it comes out. But I got picked up another book. I went to the mall.
Nice.
Yeah, because I'm 15 still or something. It was record store day last week, and there's a Newberry Comics in our mall. It's weird to think of Newberry Comics in a mall, but whatever. And I thought, there's some records that I would have liked, and I'm sure they got a bunch left over. So I just thought I'd check out what they had. I was looking for the MC 900 Foot Jesus
Oh
record. I don't know
wow.
if yeah,
Yeah.
do you remember him?
Yep. Totally.
Yeah, it was weird. Like he was big on the alternative industrial kind of scene,
Yeah.
but not at all in hip hop. And his music is, I mean, it's hip hop. That's what it is. There's nothing really like doesn't have like an alternative bend to it. It just always struck me as weird that that's where he kind of, cut his teeth in that scene.
Well, that
Anyway,
that happens. I mean, dialect was like that too.
that's very true. Although I can see why their music appeals more to like, fans of like Ipecac music and stuff like
No,
that.
that's true. I guess. Yeah.
It's abrasive, it's noisy. Like hip hop fans don't really seem to get it. 900 for Jesus music was more traditionally what you'd expect from hip hop. Not that dialect, but there's a noise element to it.
True. This is true.
But anyway, I figured like, oh, because I didn't even realize that record was available for Record Store Day. So I'm like, well, I'm got to be the only person on the fucking East Coast who cares about that record. And so I went to pick it up at the mall, and they don't have it. And they
Oh
don't even know
man.
they don't even know what I'm talking about.
Ah, God.
I'm, yeah, I'm old enough to be the person's the who works their dad. So not wanting to go to the mall, not get anything. I went over to Barnes and Noble, got myself a coffee, and to my surprise, not only do they have a horror section, because a lot of Barnes and Nobles don't, but they have Thomas Agati's Song of a Dead Dreamer and Grimscribe on paperback. So I grabbed that.
Oh yeah, dude. Barnes and Noble has really come correct with horror, man, in the last few years. Because I used to be like, I used to notice that there was never any of the stuff I liked there, and but then like, or if they had it, it was like tucked away somewhere. But
Right.
recently, the buyers they're tuned in, man. Like they have Adam Neville, they got Thomas Ligotti, they got like a bunch of stuff that is not your run of the mill horror stuff. It's like the kind of off center like weird stuff that you and I like.
Right, yeah. So yeah, that was a nice surprise to sort of, just sit down and have a coffee in Barnes and Noble and sort of just flip through it. There's some stories in here that I've read. I think actually a lot of them I've read, but it's reading this book for the podcast has sparked my interest in reading again. Every year I say it, I'm going to read more this year. This time I mean it. I haven't really checked out much though, other than that. I picked up a few records here and there. I just grabbed Swans, the Great Annihilator
Oh
yesterday.
yeah, excellent.
Classic record. Ted Parson plays drums on that record.
That's right.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I picked up a Clutch record that has maybe the worst album cover I've ever seen in my life. But what's it called? Blast Tyrant. Yeah, great record. I don't know. We talked about them last week as I went to go see them. I can't remember if you were a fan or not.
Yeah, yeah, they're cool. I think I was telling you this earlier. Like we played a festival with Clutch many years ago, and that's the first time I'd seen them play in a long since the '90s, maybe. And,
Yeah,
and and even this show was like maybe at least 10 years ago. And Wino played, and it was when Wino's solo album came out, and Clutch was his backing band.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're not. I'm not a fan per se, but I think they're a good band, though.
It's weird. I'm not really a fan of the kind of music they play. Like, I'm not really a big rock and roll kind of guy. I just think they have a unique approach to that. I think they're all fantastic players too. I like listen to that drummer. I could listen to him play for hours. But any other band that sounds like them, I'm not really into at all. But I like them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, they started out in a completely different spot too, and they
Yeah,
kind
they
of
were like
adopted this.
hardcore kids.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I like old school like hard rock and heavy metal like that. That's what I kind of grew up listening to, really. Wino around. He was like I don't see him as like I mean, I'm talking about Wino now, but it's like I don't see him as a revivalist because he was like
who's
current.
there.
He was
Yeah.
current when bands like UFO were touring and stuff like that, you
You're
know?
right. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like I'm not really like an old rock and metal guy. Like
Hmm.
I don't really know much about that stuff at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like them. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But that's all. I picked up the Twin Peaks soundtrack
Oh
by
yeah, man.
Angelo Badalamenti. It's one of those things like you're flipping through, you're like, I should probably have this.
Oh yeah, everyone should have that. Who likes that kind of stuff, definitely.
I love his work, but specifically his work for David Lynch. Like you hear other scores he did, like we covered the Wicker Man remake when the
Yeah.
music was done by Angelo Badalamenti, and you wouldn't know it unless you read it. But it's specifically his work for David Lynch that I really, really enjoy.
Well, he really dials in, like he can capture the essence of the film or the work that he's doing, you know what I mean? And it's like the Lynch stuff, especially with Twin Peaks, like the intro has
Yeah.
so many different textures to it where there's like this kind of like, you know, comfortable like small town sound, and
Hmm.
then there's like that sinister Laura Palmer theme.
Yes. Yeah.
And and then it's just, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like outstanding.
It's the perfect marriage between two visions, like just coming together and working so well. I don't think that show is works as well without that score. You get someone else to do it, and I don't think it works as well. I mean, I wouldn't can't say that for a fact, so we'll never know, but that's just what I think.
Yeah, and also even the selection of other artists like Julie Cruz as part of it too is like pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a great record. Julie Cruz's record that actually Angelo Badalamenti did all the music for that.
Yeah, man. I mean, Julie Cruz, New Yorker, Brooklyn
Is she?
native.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Have you ever heard her in an interview?
No, I don't know much about her at all.
She sounds like Brooklyn native, man. It's awesome.
Really? Yeah, yeah, Julia, do this Twin Peaks thing, you know? I like that her one record looks like a Young God record. Like it's got
Yeah,
that look to it. That made me like it even more.
yeah. Nah, she's great, man. She was great. Rest in
Was great,
peace.
yes. Rest and same to Angelo
I
Badalamenti. Like
know, I
no
know,
longer,
man.
yeah, and David Lynch.
Yeah, all three masters, man.
All the greats are dropping like flies, man. It's sad.
Yeah, and look what we're left over with.
Yeah, nothing good. All right. Anyway.
Yeah. So let's shout out the lads. So if you're listening to Necro, you're definitely should be a fan of the Horsemen of the Podcasting Apocalypse, kicking everything off every other Monday with the aforementioned Harwolf 666. You've got Brandon Legion coming at you with a variety of different horror topics, including interviews with filmmakers and other enthusiasts. Um, Up next on Tuesdays, we've got Into the Necrosphere brought to you by Jackie Smith, which is literally the only music podcast I listen to. It's gives you insights into extreme music, black metal, all the stuff that I love. And if you're into that stuff, if you're not listening to it already, you got to be checking that out. Incredible, very in-depth interviews, long form. You get his takes on all kinds of stuff, like in new music, etc. You hear about new bands. Like that's how I found out about so many great bands just listening to Jackie. So highly recommended to check that one out if you're not checking it out already. Wednesday, we've got Everything Went Black, which is my solo podcast that I do with a variety of different people, different cast of characters every week.
Hmm.
It's also Iblis Manifestations, brought to you by Cheyenne of the great band Trivax. Thursday, of course, is Necro Thursday. You're listening to Necromaniacs podcast right now. And is also day one of Soul Knox, brought to you by Carl Ikera. Friday is Spitball Media, an irreverent pop culture podcast, brought to you by, in addition to some other people, by Mike Scandato's brother, John Draper. Let's let that sink for a minute. Saturday is a day off. At least here in North America, it's the spring. So, or the northern hemisphere, I should say. So go out, enjoy yourself. We don't know how much longer we have left on this planet. So, so try to make the best of it. Because on Sunday, Carl Hikara returns with day two of Soul Knox. Carl and I are actually collaborating on several different projects right now, but yeah, so definitely check it out. We're doing Darkness Weaves. We're going to be wrapping that up because we've come to the end of the line with Carl Edward Wagner's material. So that was the original idea for that collaboration. But we're going to be kicking off a new collaboration called The Savage World of Robert E. Howard. And that should take us probably the rest of our lives because there's a lot of material that Howard did. So it's going to be a Robert E. Howard podcast that's going to be shared on Soul Knox and Everything Went Black. And that's a full week for you.
More than a full week. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of stuff out there.
Check it out, guys.
Yeah. We've got, Jeff, you always complain about how you get no phone calls.
I
So,
know.
so this week we got three phone calls from the listeners. So yeah, if you want to get at us, you can call us on the Necrophone at 908-913-0782. Up next is Robert from Portland.
Hello, Horseman. How are you? I hope all is well. This is Robert from Portland calling back. Yeah, I must have slipped into some sort of Lynchian vortex on my way back from the coast last Sunday. It's been known to happen out here from time to time, so hopefully this signal is a little more clear. Anyway, I was calling to say I love the podcast, and I've been listening to the other horsemen as well. It's good stuff. Really helps me get through the work week, and I look forward to the new episodes dropping. I mainly know you guys from your music and bands, and I'm a huge ISIS fan, and actually met Jeff after a show back in like 2005 at a venue that no longer exists out here. And I shook his hand and told him he was awesome. And I've always loved his bass playing, and some of those ISIS records are just some of the heaviest shit on the planet, and I really appreciate that. Jeff's been a great addition to the podcast. I really like his banter, and he's not afraid to say when something sucks, and he's got a good sense of humor. I also went to see ISIS on their final tour when Tombs was opening, and that's how I got into them. And then I found Everything Went Black and Necromaniacs. Really been enjoying the Feral Darkness record. It's a catchy ripper, and it was definitely one of my favorite records last year, and it's in heavy rotation still. So that's killer. I wasn't too familiar with Mike Scandato's work, but I was able to get a copy of that Confusion record, and I've been checking out his other bands too. Seems like a really cool guy. So yeah, thanks again, guys, for all the awesome content. And I think I'm running out of time here, so maybe I'll call back later and actually talk about some horror movies. All right, take care.
Thanks for calling back. Yeah, the first message somehow got garbled, and we tried to make we tried to like do what we could with the audio, but it just was but thanks for calling back, man. I really appreciate it. And so yeah, dude, as you know, Jeff was in ISIS.
The band, yes.
No, he's not the terrorist organization.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man. That was really nice to hear. I don't know if we played Portland in 2005 and 2004, 2006. So maybe that's more what he was thinking.
Sure.
I would imagine it's probably at the Hawthorne Theater. Remember that place, Mike?
I do. So the tours that we did together were awesome. They were like some of my favorite memories of touring.
Yeah, me too.
And we did that West Coast leg of the tour with you guys. So that was us, and
Jacob from New Zealand.
Jacob from New Zealand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We played at the Doug Fir on that in Portland. I like that place.
That place was sick, man.
Yeah, it was something out of like a David Lynch film, and you stayed at that weird hotel that was attached to it.
Yeah, that place was cool, man.
Yeah. It sucks. It was like, this is the last time we're playing Portland, and it's the first time we're playing the Doug Fir, and all the other shows were at a place we didn't really particularly enjoy playing, but we played there several times.
Yeah, I didn't like the Hawthorne Theater either, man. Now that I come to think of it.
I can't quite put my finger on why, but I didn't like it. And I remember there's a burrito spot in the same plaza, and that was terrible too.
Yeah.
Sorry if you work there and you're listening. Um, but yeah, thanks, man. That was very cool to hear, and thank you.
And thanks for the kind words about Feral Darkness. That's
Yeah,
that was a record that had been kind of brewing for a couple of years, and I'm glad to have it out, and I'm glad people enjoyed it. And for me, it was like definitely something that finally getting it out because I'd been working on that material for years, ever since like 2020, really. So there's like
oh,
a lot of different. That's probably why there's so many like different fields on that record.
yeah. I just spun it last week. I quite enjoy it myself.
No, thanks, man. And
Yeah,
then
of course.
Mr. Scandato is very involved. The confusion stuff is probably my favorite stuff that Mike did. So, that's more of like a metal oriented, you know, hardcore type stuff.
That's Mike's thing, hardcore metal, I would imagine. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Mike's music myself.
Yeah, it's good, man. And definitely hit us back with some movie recommendations.
Yes, yeah, I love the movie recommendations,
Yeah.
everyone.
Up next, we got AP from Atlanta, return caller.
Hey,
Hey there, Necromaniacs. This is AP calling from Atlanta. Second time caller. Been a while, but just checking in. Yeah, so me and my partner went to see this movie called The Drama in theaters at a little art house flick down art house cinema in the city, and I was under the impression it was going to be a non kind of genre affair, but the reason I'm bringing it up is there were some horror elements to it. It wound up being something that was like a very black comedy with some horror going on. And I thought it might be something that maybe could interest y'all. Especially on a day when you're not looking for something on the more scary side, but just on the very black comedy side of things. I found out Ari Aster of Heredity, Midsummer, all that had a hand in the production, and that really showed. But yeah, I just wanted to toss something that's a little bit lighter overall y'all's way, but still maybe blends in. I don't know. When it shows up on streaming in a few months or something, maybe check it out. All right. Take it easy, y'all. Love the show.
Thanks for calling back, AP. The Drama. I'm not
mm.
familiar with that. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I think Robert Pattinson's in it. I think I don't.
Huh.
I've been hearing some things here and there about it, saying what our caller from Atlanta just said, that it's darker than you're expecting. Definitely want to check that out. Absolutely.
Well, Ari Aster did it apparently, and I'm like men's amends with him. You know what I mean? It's like I like half of the stuff I've seen that Ari Aster's done. So,
Wait,
but I'll check it out.
did he direct it?
Unknown. I mean,
I don't think so. I feel like I would know that he had a new film out, but I mean, I'm kind of out of the loop. I could be wrong.
yeah. I mean, this one slipped right by me, so I wasn't even aware of it. So I have to look into it.
Yes, yes, we'll have to have our crack research team get on that right now.
Yeah. Thanks for calling, AP. Up next, we got Josh from Colorado.
Hey, Necromaniacs. This is Josh in Colorado. Hey, I wanted to call in and say thanks for doing the show. Glad you guys have kept it up for so long. I think I've been listening for the better part of a decade now, and there are a whole ton of horror movie podcasts out there, but this is by far and away my favorite. So thank you. I wanted to call in with talk about some things I've been checking out lately, and also give you guys a suggestion for something to cover for an episode, perhaps. I think I've been getting deep into some grimy, gritty Australian crime movies. And I think what set this off was Jeff on an episode mentioned a movie called The Square. I'd never heard of it, checked it out, loved it, and started to find other things in that vein that I could check out. So one standout that I found is called The Stranger. really dark crime movie with Joel Edgerton. Has a line in it that says, "I've got a black lake in my eye," which, man, what a line. Also checked out a movie called Felony with a young Joel Edgerton in it, kind of a grimy corrupt cop drama. And then a psychological revenge thriller called Alexandra's Project. So that type of thing has been keeping me busy lately. I'd love to hear some other things in that vein if you guys have any suggestions. I also saw Hounds of Love, which is more of a kind of a conventional serial killer horror film, Western Australia, that, man, really rough movie. You could pair it with Snowtown if you wanted to have the bleakest double feature ever. And then wanted to put in a suggestion for a film for you guys to cover. It's a French-Canadian movie from the last couple of years called Red Rooms, and really fascinating. I thought just a super interesting film. There's almost no on-screen violence, but there's a whole ton of psychological violence happening, and I think you guys would have a really interesting conversation around it. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thanks for doing the show. Talk to you.
Well, Josh, if you've been listening to the show, you know how we feel about Australian films. So
We're fans.
yeah, big. We have a whole other side project with Selden that covers a lot of these films, and some of this stuff sounds really cool.
Yeah, and thank you for checking out The Square and listening. No one listens to me. So when someone actually like, "Hey, I watched that movie you told me about," I get very happy. The Square is a great film. Mike, I'm telling you, you've got to watch that. And
No,
we should do
I
it on our
plan on it.
side. Yeah, it's fantastic. Red Rooms, he mentioned. I have heard of this, and I heard from everyone that it's quite brutal.
I saw Red Rooms, and it's like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's great. I think it might have been a runner-up the year it came out for one of our top 6 films, or it might even have been in the top 6, to be honest.
I think there was talk of doing an episode, or maybe you and Mike did one.
No, we didn't cover it yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it's really, it's right up my alley because it's mostly like a lot of dialogue, and
Yes.
very little violence actually takes place on screen.
Mm.
And it's very, very much the kind of thing that I'm into.
Right on, man.
Yeah. Oh, but just back to Australia again, man. Like, those films hit differently, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just something about the way that those films portray violence, and it's very disturbing and brutal, and I love all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think our episode we did on Snowtown, that aside from Requiem for a Dream, I think Snowtown would be the movie that disturbed me the most that we covered.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah.
I mean, maybe even more so. I mean, that really happened.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a true story, man.
Yeah. I never want to see that again.
The Stranger was great. I really enjoy that. That's awesome. Once again, Joel Edgerton is like the man when it comes to these films.
If we had an award here at Necromaniacs, he would have one.
We got to do awards or something, man. We got to do some kind of Hall of Fame, I think.
Yeah, Joel Edgerton's in there for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I looked up Hounds of Love, and it's available somewhere. So I think it might be on Tubi, possibly.
Everything's on Tubi except the movie we're covering today.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So thanks for calling, man.
Thank you. Yes.
So that leaves us this week's feature film, As Above, So Below. And this movie came out a while ago. It's was something directed by Erick Dowdle, written by Drew and John Erick Dowdle. So that the brothers were involved in writing this. Now both of them were involved in Quarantine, which I have issues with. Okay.
Oh, the Wreck remake?
All right, Wreck is fantastic. The first Wreck is brilliant. That's Jaume Balaguero and Paco Plaza. Okay.
Yeah, the first one is it's one of it's up there with Blair Witch as far as great found footage movies goes.
one of the premier found footage films, definitely. And so the sequel, the second was okay, but then they just lost the plot after that.
I completely agree. Although I remember liking two a lot. I remember
Two is
thinking it was
good.
more than okay. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, two is definitely good. Yeah, no, I back two. I definitely
Okay.
back it. But all right, so then the Quarantine remake came out, but they're trying to put it off as like some original idea. Like even I remember watching Quarantine. I remember when it came out, I was pissed because I was just like,
Yeah.
this is fucking why do you gotta make an American version of this film? Because it's great, you know? And the people in the film the firemen look like firemen. They look like regular guys, you know.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
reporter looks like a reporter. Quarantine, like the firemen all have like chiseled faces and stuff like that, and it's like it's an American film, and
Yeah.
which you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean. And not only that, but I watched all the extras because I rented it on DVD when it came out, and they didn't even once mention the original film.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's a scene for scene remake of a fucking Spanish film.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember watching it and thinking the same thing that this is the exact same movie.
So I had big issues with that.
Mm.
Even though Quarantine actually, if you had never seen the original, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Not quite as good though. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's missing something.
Yeah, it's definitely missing something. But, so thankfully they didn't continue with that as like a franchise or anything like that. That would have been blasphemy if you ask me.
You know what? I think there is at least one sequel.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think they were involved. I think it was a direct to video kind of thing. Because Quarantine, if I remember, was kind of a hit when it came out. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. I could be just pulling this out of my ass, but
I'm totally unaware of any sequels. So
yeah, pretty sure there is a sequel.
So this film came out, As Above, So Below, came out August 29th, 2014. All right.
Yeah, God, longer ago than I thought.
Yeah. And I remember I saw it not when it came out, but a few years later. And it was I liked it because of the elements of these like sort of like occult religion kind of elements to it.
Yeah, I when I rewatched this last night, I was like, I know why Mike wanted to cover this. This is right up his alley.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when this came out. I remember it got savaged by critics pretty bad. I think it had like a very low tomato meter, something in like the 20s, maybe the 30s. I'm not really sure. But I do remember the discourse around it from horror fans. Our friend Selden Hunt, actually, he's like, it's quite good, actually.
Yeah.
So I checked it out because of that. And I really hadn't thought about it since. So yeah, we're probably talking like at least 10, 11 years since I saw it, and it completely left my memory. And
Yeah.
and rewatching it though, I got some mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, no, totally. It was definitely a 10-year lag between when I saw it first and when the rewatch. So yeah,
Yeah.
and my memories are, it's like I have a different take on it now though, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the movie's 93 minutes long. So it's, not overly long. Doesn't overstay its welcome, I think.
Moves quick.
Yeah, it moves quick. So go through the it's an American film too, which for some reason in my mind I remember the movie being in French.
Dude, I'm glad you said that. I did the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not. I was like, why are these motherfuckers speaking English? And I'm like, oh, this is actually an American production that just is with French locations.
Yeah, yep. And I thought they were tourists too. I was like, yeah, it's about the people in the catacombs are on like a vacation. So I completely remembered it differently.
Yeah. So the cast, we've got Perdita Weeks as Scarlett Marlowe. She's a scholar, some sort of PhD in, philosophy and religions and things like that. Ben Feldman as George.
Mhm.
That's Scarlett's ex. And he I guess is an expert in dead languages because he speaks Aramaic.
Yeah, yeah. He was also in Mad Men.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And he has this as one of his hobbies is breaking and entering
Yeah. Yeah, apparently.
to repair things. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Edwin Hodge as Benji. That's the mostly unseen cameraman
Yeah.
and technical specialist.
Yeah.
Francois Civil as Papillon. He's a cataphile. I guess that means as someone who is, you know, a specialist on the catacombs or underground
That's
structures.
that's probably a thing.
Yeah, he's the guy who's gonna guide them through this whole journey. So, in some ways, I guess he's Virgil.
Yeah,
Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. We have Marion Lambert as Susie. That's Papillon's girlfriend. Um, Ali Mariar as Zed, who's Papillon's friend who disappeared into the catacombs and comes back. Has like a sort of weird appearance in there.
Wait, was it Zed or the other guy who came back?
I think it's Zed.
I thought Zed was the his. I thought he had a different name. The guy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I might have got it wrong. Oh no, you're right. It's not Zed. Pablo Nicomedes as Latoupe.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's the guy who actually lives in the catacombs. Okay.
Unwillingly or something.
Yeah. And then
Uh,
anyone else of note, I think just the rest just supporting characters and things like that.
and going through the cast, I mentioned that actor was in Mad Men. I found it distracting, which brings up my first, I guess, complaint about the movie. Like, found footage is really like it's got to work as believable in order for it to succeed, I think. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it does. It has to be believable.
Yeah,
It
I
has
mean,
to have like the sense that it's you know, almost accidentally falling into these situations.
right. Like you had like that was the power of the Blair Witch. A lot of people didn't know it wasn't real. Or when we discussed Lake Mungo, I think, I mentioned like if you were scrolling through TV one day and you stumbled upon that, you would think you're watching a real documentary. Um, Now, I think the approach of this being a found footage was its biggest mistake because it does not, you're not sold on it at all as found footage. I mean, it even has a cold open and everything. I think a more traditional film would have serviced this story a lot better.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The first time around, I didn't really have too much of an issue with that, but watching it again, I was just like, it just didn't hold up the same way, you know?
Yeah, like I kept thinking just again about a guy with a camera and these group of people going in a more traditional film would have looked better with a score. I think you could have given it a little more atmospheric touch with that kind. Otherwise, it comes off just a little bit dull with as a found footage film.
And also there's like this like kind of frenetic dialogue that happens in the film too, which kind of is distracting. Like when she first rolls up with these cave people.
Cave people.
Yeah, like the catacombs people, you know what I mean? Who are
Yeah.
like it's a little too I don't know. I wasn't really into that.
Yeah,
The
like
way they interact with each other.
it felt very scripted
Yeah.
and unnatural, but I don't know. I just that to me was the biggest flaw of the film, but we can, should get into the story, I guess.
Yeah. So Scarlet is obsessed with finding the Philosopher's Stone. Okay,
Mhm.
so if anyone out there is not familiar with that, it's in alchemy. It's like it's a substance which is basically alchemically turning baser metals into gold. Okay, so that's like
Yeah.
was the whole key of like the alchemy, like back in the ancient times, and though that was more of like an esoteric, like a occult practice, some of those things led into modern chemistry. So there was like and also it was believed to cure illness and like a potion of life essentially. Okay, so though this is definitely part of mythology, there are those out there that this thing actually exists. Okay, so Scarlet is of that camp where she believes that this is an actual physical thing that is existing out there in the world, and her inquisitive nature is compelling her to try to find this thing. So she's been like very active in finding clues of where this thing might be and all this other stuff.
She's like a Indiana Jones, Laura Croft sort of character.
Yeah,
And she's picking up the mantle of her father,
right. Yep.
which weighs heavy uh, on the plot. And like I said, we get sort of a cold open that sort of acts as an exposition to what we're about to see. Explains the character, her motivations, and introduces like the supernatural element right away.
Yeah. The film starts, in Iran, where she finds this thing called the Rose Key, and then she has a vision of a hanged man, and it turns out that the hanged man is actually her dad, who killed himself several years ago.
Right. And what little research I did for this, now that is a made up thing, the key. But as far as I can tell, all this other stuff really exists in mythology, or a good amount of it. And I
Yeah, a lot
figured,
of it does.
yeah, you would know more about that than I, since you're quite more in tune with these things.
Yeah, yeah. The Rose Key was something I believe was made up for the film,
Yeah, I
but
think
there's all sorts of lore around the Philosopher's Stone, and whether or not it exists, and it's kind of like the Holy Grail, where
right.
some people believe in it, some people don't. Is it just part of Christian mythology, or whatever? But this is part of like an alchemical practices.
Right. And then, the next like chunk of the movie is sort of like an assembling the team kind of film for a little bit. We get she needs X there. She needs his help, who, like you said, he's like Robert De Niro's character from Brazil. He's like a rogue like fixer or something.
Yeah, 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 exactly. And that's why you were saying that this is why I think a more traditional film would have served this better, because like why would she film that interaction where she finds him?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's a little bit of a stretch, you know?
Yeah. 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 I completely agree. It's like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Here's me and my
And
cameraman.
I'm filming all of this, so it's don't,
Yeah.
don't get uncomfortable, but I'm filming everything that we're saying right now.
Right. He doesn't acknowledge the camera at all, like it's not there. It's like, yeah, it feels like it wants to be a traditional movie.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder. I mean, like both of these dudes, the two brothers that made this film obviously had access to funding, so it's not like they're these independent filmmakers who have a low budget, who want to make an film, and the only thing they can do is a found footage movie. Because I've seen like people with way less resources make way better films than this.
Absolutely, 100%. And you hit the nail on the head. That's something I was thinking. This movie clearly had a budget. So this isn't like some people scraping together what they can to make a film and like, well, we don't have money, we'll make found footage. You can do that for cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
I don't understand the approach at all.
because a lot, like you're saying, like that interaction specifically would have served itself better if it was a traditional narrative where she runs into him. He's in the belfry of some church, like he broke in, he's fixing a clock, and oh, and
Yeah.
by the way, he's a specialist in dead languages and speaks Aramaic.
Yeah.
It's like that's a bit much, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, a bit convenient. I mean, speaking of budget, this was actually filmed in the catacombs.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I find that must have cost a pretty penny, man.
Yeah, I think that's probably where most of the money went then.
Yeah, because I mean I've never been actually. Have you been there?
No, I have not. I have not. Well, I don't know why I had to think about that.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go, and every single time I've been to Paris, we've always been like under the gun to do things, and
Same.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, and I don't. A lot of times, like when we played in Paris, we wouldn't even stay in the city. So right after the show, we'd have to drive to where we were staying, like outside the
Yeah.
city. So
Same.
there's
Yeah.
never time to do anything.
Yeah, I saw Jim Morrison's grave. That's the only tourist thing I did in Paris. And yeah, I'm not even that big of a Doors fan. They're cool. But yeah. I was watching this thinking like, wow, they did a really good job with the sets in this movie. Not knowing that they filmed it there. I mean, that part of the movie really works. I mean, you really feel like you're trapped in a cave.
Definitely. Definitely have that claustrophobic feeling, and especially where the camera guy
Mm,
is he gets stuck,
yeah, oh, that was tough to watch.
and you can just imagine the anxiety because it's like of not being able like you're underground, dude, and it's like why are
Yeah.
you like you don't belong there, and it's like this dude's trying to squeeze himself through this crevice, and he's like, I can't move, I'm stuck, I can't move, and it's just like fuck, what do? You leave him
Uh,
there.
yeah, I got uncomfortable so many like throughout this movie. Like so that aspect of it really works. And filming in the catacombs is a huge advantage. I feel like if you tried to recreate that on a set, you wouldn't get that claustrophobic feel. It would be like, you have to make it bigger so you fit all the crew and cameras and it wouldn't have the same effect, I don't think.
Yeah, so they find like through some research, she finds a clue. There's a it's a they break into or they don't break into it. They go to a museum, and then there's like an artifact that she's like, there's a clue on the back of this artifact. So they pull it down. There's some symbolism that gives her this idea that the philosopher's stone is located someplace that is accessible through the catacombs. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go into all the details of how she figured that out. You guys could watch the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's where she has to find out. She has to find Papillon, who the butterfly, who is an expert. He knows everything about the catacombs. He's got this group, and there's this kind of transgressive, like punk rock people who spray paint their fucking logos everywhere, and the cops are against them, and all that kind of cool like underground stuff.
yeah. I liked these characters.
Yeah. They're like these
Um,
kind of anarcho, probably listen to Crass, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it seems like people you who would have put on your show in France when you played there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. They like
Um,
organize hardcore punk shows at the squats.
yeah, and they feed you like vegan slop for your, post sound check dinner.
A lot of
Uh,
lentils primarily.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, but they get turned on to Papillon by they take a tour of the catacombs for, I guess research purposes, and a strange man sitting there says, "Talk to Papillon." And then he disappears, which again, no one seems to think that's weird. Like, like who was that? Nothing. They just like cut to like, okay, we have to go find this Papillon guy.
Yeah,
Like,
that's I thought that was odd, and that was like definitely probably like a clunky bit of narrative, I think.
yeah, because you watching it notice like, okay, this is weird, but none of them really acknowledge it as such, which I mean, doesn't again kind of takes you out of the idea that this is all supposed to be real.
Yeah. So they eventually hook up with Papillon and his group, and they on the day of their descent, they're like they originally her ex George is like, I'm just gonna like you just wanted me on board to translate.
Mhm.
I don't want to go into the ground, you guys. So he's like
Yeah.
he's hesitating when they've some pass, they have to go through some trees, and they find their way in this like hidden entryway into the catacombs. And he's like, I don't want to go into this thing with you guys. And then the cops come, and he has to go in. So
Yeah.
that's how he ends up being part of the group.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And that's where, yeah, they're basically fucked.
Yeah. So they have to go deeper and deeper into the catacombs. Now, apparently, this is the thing that d I got the sense that some of Papillon being an expert on all the passageways, it seemed like there was almost like a House of Leaves thing going on where some of these things were changing, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it seems like whatever force was in there wanted them there because they are being watched before they step foot in the catacombs. You have the guy who tells them go to Papillon. You have this ghostly type of girl who they see at the club, and they see, I think it was on the street too. So whatever this thing is seems to want them there, is drawing them there.
All right. Now, I've to pose this question to you.
Okay. Oh,
Right?
interesting. Okay.
Why?
Good question.
Like that's the thing. It's like when you make it through this entire film, at the end, there's no to what end did this entity want them even down there? That's like one of the key things, one of the key issues I had with this movie second time around.
Completely agree with you. The why, I mean, they're just like anyone else. Everyone has things in their past that would be, maybe morally dubious. Why them? What's special about them? That rang kind of false for me. Another question I have for you, where are they? Hell is for the dead.
Yeah.
They're not dead.
Yep. That's right.
So the whole like I was like wondering, is this supposed to be hell? Is this some sort of construction by this stone for them? I was almost thinking like this is like a jigsaw trap from the Saw movies, like where
Well,
they
yeah,
have
because
to confront their morality or die.
I mean, there's all this divine comedy in like imagery in the film,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like
That's
yeah, so earlier on I was saying how like Papillon is like Virgil. So like in the Divine Comedy, Virgil's like the guy who brings Prospero into the nine circles of hell, right?
right.
And it's like, but they're not the thing. There's so Prospero. I mean, is that the fucking guy's name? Like, he's not dead though when he goes into hell with Virgil. He's
Okay,
like,
all right.
so there, I can see that angle, you know. And in this world of as above, so below, hell is a physical place. Yeah. So
And
it's
it's in France
and,
apparently,
and
which
apparently
totally yeah makes sense.
you can get there from the catacombs in France.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's awful like there's a lot of they allude to the nine circles of hell without directly saying we're in level four, we're in level five. They seem to combine some levels too. And
Yeah.
again, I was like, Mike will know more about this than I do.
Yeah. They kind of like maybe because they don't go through each level and okay, now we're in like Purgatorio or whatever. It's like it's not it's not it's sort of more they take a lot of license with it, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, there's obvious reference to greed when they stumble across the hidden treasure, and as soon as they try to take it, it collapses.
Yeah.
And
So I mean, like the whole with the Divine Comedy angle, um, Virgil was trying to show the path of the soul in the afterlife, basically. You know, it's because like there is like at the end, there's like there's everything gets resolved. So I think that just on a very surface level, this thing is related to the nine circles of hell, and they just tell one part of that story, I guess, is what they're trying to do.
right, right, but again, the nagging question of why are these characters specifically put through this? Even within the group, I mean, how many people are there? There are some people who never really get to confront their sins, which is what I assume they were being brought there to do, because that's how, spoiler alert, that's how they escape. Um, but other people don't get that opportunity. Other people are dead before you figure out what your purpose is down there.
Yeah.
Like Benji. We don't really learn too much about some like the people who die during this film. You don't really get to know too much about them, and you know what? That's fine. You don't need to know everyone's past. It can be hinted at. Like Benji is he's startled by a woman carrying a baby and he falls to his death. It's also hinted at that maybe he's a lustful man. In one of the earlier scenes, he talks about a woman's legs being nice, something like that.
Well, it's not wrong
So,
with
yeah,
that.
no, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But you know what I mean? So I think it was sort of hinting at some sort of past mistakes in that regard. You don't know. He never really gets to confront that. And then you have Papillon, who apparently, there's a burn on his arm. and they come across a burning car in the cat, which is actually one of the cooler moments in the movie.
Yeah.
And his last words are basically like, "That wasn't my fault. That wasn't my fault." So his big sin, I guess, had something to do with the death of this guy in this car. He also turns out to be the person who was trying to drop Happy on there, who told the group of people, "Go find him. He'll bring you here."
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What he doesn't get that he doesn't get to, he doesn't get the same experience that George, Rose, and Zed get, where they hold hands and they talk about all the the bad thing in their life. So again, it's very selective of, or who gets to have that chance to get out. Am I
yeah,
making
yeah.
sense?
No, I'm trying to think about that. It's like, um, I made a mistake earlier. It just came to me that I said Prospero. It's actually Dante himself that Virgil's leading in Divine Comedy.
That's what I thought, but I
Yeah,
figured
dude.
I was like,
No,
better than
dude.
I.
If I sometimes, I'm fucking old, man. Like my brain gets pulled in different places sometimes.
It's fine. Everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, but I don't want some Weisenheimer to be like, oh,
Well,
Hill,
actually,
fucking, you're an idiot, whatever. But yeah, yeah. I don't know why I thought Prospero came up in my mind, but yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's almost it's funny because recently I watched this in Event Horizon like around the same time.
Yeah.
And there was like similarities in some ways because in Event here I am talking about Event Horizon. It's like they're used, whatever this presence or this force that exists is conjuring up all of these like sins that these people have done in the past or these weaknesses that they have and showing it to them, and I guess that's in some ways that is part of the nine circles of hell, is reckoning with like the sins that you did.
Right. I sort of like the idea that if they never reckoned with their sins, they would just be sort of stuck in this loop
And I
until
think
they
that's
do.
and I feel like that was the character of Latoupe, who that's
Yeah.
why he's just wandering those catacombs throughout that whole time.
Right. Yes, exactly. And I thought he was killed when they try to take the treasure. He's crushed, but we see him later. So I believe he's some sort of ghost or demon or whatever. And then he kills Papillon's girlfriend, beats her to death.
Yeah. So yeah, he's sort of doomed to like live in this purgatory of the catacombs until maybe he has a reckoning with his sins.
Right.
You know, um, real. All right, now all these experiences happen to these people. Some people die. At the end of the film, it's really Scarlet and her ex that are left, and
And Zed.
and Zed, right. And one of the things that she has, because they find this philosopher's stone, that's one of the things that the artifacts they took. She's able to heal people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but with George, or I'm sorry, is it,
Yeah.
George. She's having problems like healing some of his wounds.
Yes. Yes. And this is another problem I have. She seems to conveniently have the answers for pretty much everything.
Yeah,
That well, in some ways it's kind of like in found footage movies, people are screaming and yelling and they don't know what to do. She does know what to do, which that's cool. That's different, but she always knows what to do, no
yeah,
matter
yeah.
what, which rang a little like I don't know, convenient.
Um, the way this resolves is sort of doesn't make a lot of sense to me in some ways.
Yeah, no, I am glad you said that. Yeah, like they basically they speak their big sins or whatever out loud, and they take quite literally a leap of faith, and that's how they find the way out. So I guess all you had to do was say, "Yeah, I feel guilty because my brother died," or "I feel guilty my dad killed himself," and you can go. It didn't really, yeah, I didn't make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, like in some ways, maybe it's like this kind of Christian, like Catholic, you know, like you confessing to your sins or contritions or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has like only through like confession and faith will you be set free.
Yeah,
That, yeah, exactly. Um,
which kind of tracks with the whole like divine comedy like aspect of it too, I guess.
yeah. I feel like this needed a much darker ending.
Well, that's where I was going to get at. So when they
Ah,
take
okay.
they take their leap of faith, they just jump into this like abyss and they basically come out back in Paris.
Yeah, they find a manhole in the floor. They're trying to um they don't realize that they're facing up. So they're trying to like pull it out, but you have to push it out.
Yeah.
And that's one of the cooler moments of the film when they come out in the real world and everything is upside down. Then they turn the camera over and it's back in the real world. And I kind of half expected to like have some sort of like epilogue where they're not really sure if they ever quite made it out, if this is the
Yeah.
real world or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well,
kind of like what I was hoping. I mean, the first time I saw this film, I was, oh, this is cool. Like I enjoyed it, and I mean, I enjoyed it the second time, but maybe not as much as the first time because I had a lot of different. I saw some of the flaws, you know what I mean, and then my preferences, the way I wish the story had gone, I think were a little bit more front and center the second time around.
yeah, like I mean, most found footage movies kind of end the same way, but this would have benefited from, it's just the last girl left and the light has faded on her like little headlamp there and something's coming for her, the end, something like that, or they just perpetually stuck down there, something like that. But this just sort of ends.
Yeah, a
And
little disappointing, I thought.
yeah, I mean, you have like some very interesting ideas going on in here, but I just felt that they're not really fully explored, and that's the frustrating element of that movie. It's you're dealing with the nine circles of hell and guilt and all these things. I just think you could have done so much more with this story.
My preference would have been if they actually all were dead.
Something, or even like something that leaves lingers in your mind afterwards. Like maybe it's debatable. Were they dead? Were they not dead? Were they in hell? Were like you know what I mean? How could they have gotten out? Like that to me would have made for a more interesting movie. Instead, it's almost I don't know, like it's almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely like a valiant swing, but ultimately a miss.
Yeah, I think so. But as an experience in watching it, like I do see its value. Like it is a pretty good horror movie. It does have this great claustrophobic feel to it, even though I felt like the visually drab found footage look. I the claustrophobia of it did get to me, and that worked.
Yeah, no, definitely it worked in that. Yeah. Um, what kind of score would you give this movie?
I 3 is my lowest recommendation. This sits at about a 3 for me. I
Yeah.
think there's value in it. Just appreciating it for what it is. I should maybe not take points off for what it isn't, but I guess it's just how I think. So 3, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. I give it a 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like like I pretty much for the same things you said, and it's not a one and done. Like I enjoyed watching it a second time.
Hmm.
So you know, you can I could see having a desire to see this movie again just for the atmosphere.
Yeah, maybe in like another 12 years,
Yeah.
when I'm sure I would have completely forgotten about this. And I think I'll be probably like frustrated all over again.
Yeah.
Because there's some really good stuff in it, and I just don't think they fully explored it. And that's
There
my big gripe.
there are definitely some YouTubers out there that are projecting a lot onto this film, I think.
Really?
Yeah. That I watch this and then I watch some YouTube stuff and and I didn't see the things they were saying, is what I'm trying to get at, I
Okay,
guess.
so did some people find this to be more philosophical and deeper than
Yeah,
we did? See,
exactly.
that's what I want too. That's what I was, hoping for. And it wasn't that. I don't think
Yeah.
this movie is really that smart.
Yeah, yeah. It's a horror movie. There's some creepy stuff in there, claustrophobic. It's entertaining, but is it a deeply philosophical film? I would say no.
Yeah, you know what I have written down here? It feels like an extended VHS sequence.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. This would have been a great short, probably.
Yeah, it would have worked better in the format they chose to make it in. That maybe like a 30-minute short would have been good. I mean, all the stuff leading up to the catacombs is fairly, uninteresting and dull.
Yeah, I agree.
And but it's basically like a setup to what we're about to see that just goes on a little long. But once you get down there, the movie goes very quick.
Yeah, no, and that should have been the focus of the film, I think.
Yeah, I like yeah, it's just frustrating. There's a better version of this should exist. And who knows, maybe a lot went on the cutting room floor. I don't know, but maybe we'll never know. But yeah, like I said, okay.
Yeah, all right, cool. That's pretty much sums up As Above, So Below. And where did you see this anyway?
I rented it because I was like, surely this is on Shudder. No? Okay, then surely it's on Tubi. No? Like, oh, all right, fuck it. I'll rent it. It was like $4.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I own this? Like all my DVDs are still in boxes, and I was like, I'm not digging through that. Because back when this came out, I would just buy stuff because that's how I would watch it, you know? So I'm like, I could probably have this sitting in a box somewhere.
Yeah, I had a DVD copy of this, so that's how I watched it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you could probably find those in for like $4 now, somewhere at your local flea market.
Yeah, I mean, I could see. I'll probably watch this again. I probably watched it just that one time when it came out, and it's been lingering in my collection.
Yeah, yeah. Like, but yeah, I can see why it didn't have a big impact on me back when 2014, 2015, whenever I saw it. But it was okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's this week's episode. And uh, by the way, there's that movie Hokum that just came out.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's in the theaters now.
I thought it said May.
Okay.
I've gotten several messages about it. Are you going to see this? Things like that. And then you mentioned that was the director of a film that we did, the Oddly movie, right?
Yeah, and also Caveat, both of those films.
Both were good.
Yep. And I have high expectations for this one, man.
Yes, like the folk horror genre, I always have high expectations when I hear those words.
And with also just the success of those two other films, like both Caveat and Oddity, I thought were great. So this hopefully will follow suit with that.
Yeah, I mean we'll definitely be doing that one for sure. But that's one of my hopes for 2016. Like I'm really looking forward to that one in this year because for me, it's been a very underwhelming year for horror. I find like I haven't been paying as much attention to what's going on, what's out there. But I am very much looking forward to that.
Well, yeah, really only Hokum and the Undertone were the only two ones that I was actually looking forward to that came out this year.
Yeah. Well, we also got new Robert Eggers coming out in
Yeah.
December, I believe.
All right, so that's going to come out this year.
I believe so.
All right, yeah, that one. I mean, yeah, Werewolf is like for sure, like it's going to come out again on Christmas Day or something like that, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. If that's not good, I'll be crushed. Like, he's batting 100 so far.
Yeah, totally. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week. Take care.
Take care, everyone.
Sometime life in the ghetto here, no work, nothing, no work, nothing, because if him not cut him up, him shot him. I the same thing. two sides. That side they have gun, that side they have gun. We buy gun them still. I mean, that man me travel with my little gun, you know. And anyway, me I go me carry it, man, because them don't know what is good. All them know if you do is stay out the street and rob people.
Me nah go lie. Every pussy man want die. Everybody man go and die. Everybody man go and die. Me nah go lie. Everybody man go and die. Every pussy man go and die. Everybody man go and die. I ain't chasing nothing, homie, so just give me the bag. Bullets travel at the speed of thought, hit with the mag. You could fuck around, lay around, you could get dragged. I will bomb them motherfuckers like I'm hitting the tag. This a death wish, homie, y'all are liable to die. This is Hammurabi Code, this is eye for an eye. I can see his eye, where his ideology lie. You supposed to supply workers if you got the supply. Divine retribution, Paul, fire and brimstone. It's a trench knife dagger and it made from a shin bone. Tubular bells, ringtone. The Mossberg flex make a change in your skin tone. There's nothing changing, everything is carved in a stone. I will cook them till the meat falls off of the bone. What's your life like, Aki? You just sad and afraid. And I'm staying in the hood like an African braid. Fatima. Me nah go lie. Every pussy man want die. Everybody man go and die. Everybody man go and die. Me nah go lie. Everybody man go and die. Every pussy man go and die. Everybody man go and die. Hey yo, last call, I'll send them shots at you like bartenders. Blow your brain out of the window over the car fender. I'm used to hearing shit like, trust me nigga, we got you. Same pussy you trust, same pussy that shot you. Fake handshakes, phony hugs, and all the smirking. Never trust a nigga around you, that's never working. Down to his last couple dollars, he getting nervous. Rob you, then get killed for it, it wasn't worth it. A bitch sleep with you, then sleep with your best friend. I don't follow none of you dudes, I set trends. I ain't trying to tell you shit, I'm trying to show you. Keep your eyes close to the motherfuckers that owe you. You gon' catch a bullet the same minute you jack me. I don't play the shotgun, nigga, I want the back seat. I'm from a place where they'll rob you if you got bread. And clean cut niggas be grimier than a mop head. Maz. Me nah go lie. Every pussy man want die. Everybody man go